Hello, I'm Alex Mansfield, the host of Manny Talks Shooting, and welcome to another episode. This is the shooting podcast where I talk to individuals all across the shooting industry. We'll talk competition, self-defense, concealed carry. If you like this content, check out our YouTube channel, Manny Talks Shooting. And without further ado, let's get to this episode. Manny Talks Shooting is proudly presented to you by D2 Custom Guns. Did you know that Phil the Groundhog isn't the only thing Puxatawny, Pennsylvania is famous for? That's right, D2 Custom Guns, the home of Dan Heizenreiter and one of the best, fabulous 2011 builders in the country. So make sure you guys go check him out, D2 Custom, anywhere you can see him on the social media, Facebook, Instagram, go check him out. If you see myself, Patches Reader, anyone with the D2 Custom Guns, make sure you go check him out, and you will thank me later. Now, let's get on to the show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back to another installment of Manny Talks Shooting, the greenest shooting podcast on the internet. Proudly presented to you by D2 Custom Guns. Go check out Dan. Go buy a gun right now because by this time you might get it before the season starts because he's that busy. Last year he blew up. He's got a bunch of guns on the books, so you should get yourself in the list too, and hopefully you can get moved up if somebody drops out. But hey, without further ado, we're going to sit down with a guy I met last year. No, it's still this year. I still think of it. My shooting season's over. The year is over.
Right.
Not technically. I still got about 20 days until I can say it's over.
Yep.
The guy I met in 2025 at Area 5 on my squad. He likes green probably just as much as I do, but he's not ready to fully commit all the time in the green. It's okay. We'll get him. We'll get him over it.
Yeah.
Send him down with my buddy Colin Maxon. How you doing, Colin?
Doing great, Alex. Thanks for having me on.
And yeah, we're gonna have fun. Yes, we will. We will have fun, and you're welcome. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna talk about a lot of good things. But every question I ask to every guest is, "Who are you, and how did you get into shooting?"
So, my name's Colin Maxon, and a little bit of my shooting journey began with growing up. We were kind of a firearms family, but we did not hunt, and that was just more too. That's just not something my dad got into, but my parents had my brother and I involved in the sharpshooting, the youth 22 long rifle matches. And so I got to do that kind of up until I was 12 or 13. And then when I moved to Minnesota, I looked for 3-gun match stuff. It was something interested I was in. So I was 21 now at that time. And lo and behold, a local club 15 minutes north of me was having a 3-gun match. So I went, shot it, and one of the guys that was on the squad said, "You would love USPSA." I was like, "What's that?" So I started that in 2017, towards the end of 2017, and I just did one match a month just to kind of see how I liked it, and then if something I really wanted to commit to, and took a few months, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I want to do this. And then 2018, religiously, our club in Minnesota, we do from May to October, every Wednesday night at 6:30, we have matches. Five courses of fire, yeah, every Wednesday night, May through October.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, that's not a thing around here. We don't normally have like weeknight leagues until like you get a weeknight match or so, maybe.
Sure.
Like once a month in the wintertime. Because
yes,
I don't know what it is. Like, well, and it probably makes more sense if you're near a metro, right? Like you're probably near the Twin Cities, probably, or roughly close.
Right. Rochester is a little over an hour south of the Twin Cities, and then Pine Island is where the club's at, and that's about 15, 20 minutes north of Rochester. And it is very uncommon when we tell a lot of people that we have weekly night matches. It's not very common, and a lot of that just has to do with the amount of volunteer base that we have at the club is extraordinary. It wouldn't happen without those guys.
Right. So these are the old guys sitting at the club all day drinking coffee and
some of them, yeah.
I guess we got to go hang some walls now.
Right. And we've actually kind of changed a couple things. So for the longest time, we've just had one guy stage designing, and then he was always the lead setup guy. And it just was getting to the point that's a lot of matches to have to do and commit to every week. And then when you do that for many years on end, he got a little burned out. So and fortunately, we were able to uh, create a group. So now we have about 5 different guys, myself being included, one of them, where we rotate and are responsible for stage designs and lead setup, one week a month.
That's nice. It does break up the monotony and allows
Yes,
everyone to like take a break or not have to be in charge. So
right.
they're still
And
everyone's still
and
probably
it's fun
there.
because everybody has just a slightly different flavor or style on how they interpret a stage or what they like to get out of a stage. So it's fun to also break that pattern up where you just don't feel like you're shooting, you from week to week if it's the same stage designer. And even when they're good stages, you're still going to notice themes and things. It's like, well, I've shot this before. In a way, you just kind of shuffle things around. So it is nice to get just different people's perspective on a stage.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think it's best to have like a team. Like I am very fortunate that I run a range and a match with somebody who likes taking everyone's stages and he puts them on paper and then makes them work.
Sure.
Right, it being like the coordinator, which is nice, because it's not a full dictatorship of like, oh, this is what we're putting down, and
Right.
so I'm very happy that collaboration is accepted nowadays more than it used to be. So
Right. Yeah, this was the first year we implemented this, and it really went very well.
that is good. So all right, I want to dabble back. So you got into three gun first. Is that because that was the first thing you saw, or
That
was
was
it
the
big
first
because?
thing I that yes, that was the first thing I saw, um and that's the only 3 gun match I've ever shot. So mainly I think partly because the guy that was leading up the 3 gun side of competition at our club that following year stopped doing it. The 3 gun just involves so much more work and planning, props, and you don't get to do as much in a day, as you do USPSA. You can get through a 10, 12 stage match easily within a day of USPSA, and you're at best half of that if you're doing 3 gun.
Oh yeah, yeah. It takes
So
forever.
So yeah, mainly just because it stopped being local, the 3 gun stuff stopped.
Gotcha. Yeah. So then you dabbled straight into USPSA hardcore. What division did you start in then?
Limited is what I started in. I kind of just float. I was kind of guided to it, like a lot of new shooters are. It's just most people's equipment, and right from the get go, can you can run in limited, and then you're not having to explain to the new guy all the rules and stuff of having to shoot production or anything. In 2018, CO really wasn't a thing yet, so that wasn't even a division really to consider. So they just guided me right into limited. I shot a 4 1/4 inch M&P. I had one chambered in 40, and then after I didn't make chrono major one year because I wasn't reloading yet either. So I had a match where I didn't make chrono major power factor because of the short barrel. So I bought another 5 inch M&P when the 2.0s came out, and then I kind of migrated from had a guy at the club that said, "Hey, I want to sell you my CZ Tactical Sport oranges for dirt cheap, so you can quit beating me with a plastic gun and you can start beating me with the steel guns." And then I kind of made a goal. I wasn't going to switch any divisions until I at least made master in
Oh,
limited.
okay.
So
So you kept you kept your word and you didn't switch divisions until you made master.
correct.
And then and you've only had so you shot M&Ps and then the CZs. Did you switch to a 2011 in limited?
No, so no, nope. My first 2011 was an open gun,
Okay.
so it went
And
right.
did you? go to a 2011 purely from the based off of everyone says you need a 2011, or you couldn't find a checkmate that wanted to run?
There was no, we had a couple checkmates, but there was just the checkmate is just so limited with the options that can be done to the platform. So I, had CZ actually come out with a maybe updated version where you didn't have a 6-inch comp hanging off of the thing and maybe offered some porting and those things. I may have stayed with the CZ platforms, um, but ultimately I just settled on the 2011 platforms, and now that I'm in that platform, I do prefer the platform. And if I were to go back to limited, I did have an LO gun built, an LO gun built on a 2011 platform. So again, I would not, now having played with both of them, I would do limited in a 2011.
Right. Now, I was just thinking about this. This squirrel thought popped in my head. Right now, it'd be really cool. CZ, listen up. Make a checkmate off the DWX.
Yeah,
Right. So that'd be kind of cool.
exactly.
I mean, the mags would still be a problem unless like MBX or somebody made a big stick, like because I think they're based off the P10 mag in the
Right.
DWX. But that'd be cool. You get a 2011 style trigger, CZ esque.
Yes.
So there you go, CZ. I will take my check now.
Exactly. Yeah, and MBX already does magazines for the shadows, so I wouldn't think it'd be too terrible for them to do an open version for the DWX.
Right. That would, I think, it'd be pretty sharp. But
Yeah.
so did you then go straight to open from limited then, or did you dabble in like PCC or something?
No, went straight from limited to open.
Okay.
And on some of our fun nights I've dabbled in PCC, but it's not going to be a division that I probably will seriously compete in. It'll just be to goof around for fun kind of nights. I really enjoy open, so I don't know if I see myself getting out of open much. I've got an LO gun just more for if we're shooting more local matches in different areas, and if there's nobody shooting open, I might then just pick up the LO gun just to be in a division with more people in it.
Right. I agree. Opens where the heart's at, but yeah, sometimes it's just like it's really sad and expensive when you just shoot like, oh, look at, I only get like 900 rounds per pound, or 7 to 800 rounds per pound of powder.
Right.
Oh, look at you LO guys who get 1600 rounds per pound of powder.
I know. Because I reload now that our son is 9, and he's now shot USPSA for a year, and he's good enough, and now I'll probably get him a number for 2026, and he'll probably attend some more local majors with me, maybe like the Iowa section, South Dakota section, and stuff. And then, but yeah, so I have to reload for him and myself, and same thing. It's just wow, I get so much more ammo reloading your minor loads than I do
It
getting.
also look for me like I had to load a batch of ammo. I don't know why I had to. I had to load some ammo up, some minor ammo, and I'm like, is this enough powder? Like,
Right.
is it? It's not. I don't see it. It's like I'm looking
Right.
over the case and I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, it was like, oh my lord, it was crazy just to do that once, and I was like, go back and now I've got a separate tool head, or yeah, I've got a separate tool head. I took a die off of it, but that's all right.
Okay.
But yeah, so I can just like minor tool head,
Yep.
major tool head.
Exactly. Pretty
Just
much. Yeah. Pretty much the same thing. I just swap out right now. I just swap out. I reload on the Frankfurt Arsenal X10. Um, so it's pretty easy for me to swap out the two dies that I need, because the other than the sizing die expander and then the cedar, the other dies I use are just the same.
right. Yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, is it automated or do you still pull the handle?
I still pull the handle, and that's more a me preference
Mm-hmm.
right now, just because it's just I seem to. It seems like the guys that have ammo issues, at least around here, and then if they end up having a squib or something, they all reload on an automated press.
Mm.
And I don't think not that that's actually the issue. It's just, again, it's more, I don't feel the crunch or the need to have to go automated yet. And I usually reload now during the off season. If I take 30 minutes a night here and there, by the time the season begins, I've loaded all the ammo we need for the year.
Yeah, I keep telling myself that, but then I'm always like, well, shit, I need to get components. And then, well,
Right.
guess what? I'm still trying to shoot a little bit during the winter, like on the indoor night, monthly indoor local match. And I'm like, son of a bitch, I still don't have any ammo loaded.
Right.
And that's my biggest thing is like, it's usually I'm down one component. I'm like, oh, I got plenty of powder, I got plenty of primers, and I'm like,
I
oh
need
shit.
bullets.
Well, it's bullets or brass, and
Sure.
I got burned on some bullets. They must have changed their process on those bullets because I used to be able to use them. Now, like when I go to crimp them, I can literally crimp them in the case and I can still spin the bullet.
Oh,
In yeah, that was not fun finding that out. Well, I think how did I find this out? Oh, I just loaded around and it pulled the bullet up. It either pulled the bullet apart or like almost had like a squib,
okay.
kind of like mental. And I was just able to pop it with the rod to get it out, because I always carry
Sure.
one of those. But I was like, what the hell? And then it did it again, like right away. And I'm like, okay, check
I
on my.
had one. I had one just a couple weeks ago. Same exact what you're talking about. And it was I could just and even after having crimped the round, it was still loose.
Mm,
I think I ended up tossing that piece of brass. I think I was able to figure out, if I remember correctly, it was a brass, just that specific piece of brass issue, because then I took a different brass with that bullet and it crimped and was tight
mm.
like normal. But yeah, I don't know. The bullets I use, I'm concerned mainly that if their weights have changed, they're 127 grains, and they've always been biased on the heavy side. So like 128 and a half, some of them got to 129. And now, and we'll probably get to this with nationals, but I barely got away with major power factor at nationals because, and then when I came back home, I weighed about 100 bullets, and not one of them was over 127. The average was 125.7. And I was like,
Oof.
ooh, that's not good.
Right, that's gross math. That's not even like finite math.
No.
It's like two whole grains. Like,
Yes.
well,
So I'm a little concerned now with that, because I load for that as if I've got that extra grain.
mhm. Well, and for me, I was getting it was a foreign. This projectile was a foreign projectile.
Okay.
Um, if you want to put it together, folks, I was using a bullet at the place that they hosted the World Shoot this year. You can figure that out. They were great bullets. They really were. The quality was, and then I don't know if it's something with the ogive changed or something, and just how
Sure.
long I load them. I'm tempted to try to load them in like a minor load because I've
Just
got a
see.
yeah, just to make them short and
Yep.
see if like that's the issue, and I can use them for minor ammo. But it still sucks. It's like, oh man, I was getting a great price point on those for open, and I'm like,
Sure.
so now I had to switch to Everglades. I'm odd. I don't use, and I don't think you do either. I don't use a jacketed hollow point for my open ammo.
Yes, I don't either, but some might say I'm even more controversial because I use a coated bullet.
I know some people who still do or sometimes do. My first gun, I would do it all the time because I
Okay.
was getting them really good prices too. And I'm
Right.
just like, I don't want to clean this thing.
I do. I think it's not as bad. The powder coatings have gotten better than what they used to be, even from 5 years ago. So they have gotten better, because the guys told me that the coating on these are supposed to be rated for 2,200 feet per second. And when I compared my comp after a few months to a buddy that shoots, I think he also shoots the Everglades.
hmm
Yes, my comp was definitely dirtier, but it was by no means unusable or anything. So I still have to feel like I clean it more often than I'd have to. Um, but I haven't. I'm still justifying. It's like, all right, I'm getting these for just a hair under 7 cents a bullet. So
Right. Yeah. And if that's what makes us be able to shoot more, I mean, it's one of
yeah,
those little time strain. It's like it might be worth it, right?
and they're
So
still very accurate. So
Right. Yeah. And yeah, if accuracy was an issue, then that'd be it. Be having a different conversation on that. But
Exactly.
okay. Yeah. So if accuracy was an issue, yeah, I would say be like, yeah, it's time to let those go. But I'm yeah. So other than that, I don't have ammo. I mean, all my malfunctions come from me being dumb with the reloader, and
Sure.
it's usually a high primer, which is really
Okay.
bizarre to say with, especially with an open gun.
Yeah.
But it's usually because I don't know, like sometimes like it was weird. I was getting processed brass for a while, and it'd be a pain to seat them, and
Okay.
then like range brass that I pick up. Not my like it's not like brass that I've just shot. It's like, oh, this is like old major match ammo people have loaded or left on the ground, brass
Sure.
from majors. And I'm like, oh, look, it's so much easier to seat these primers in these non-treated cases.
Uh-huh.
But
I think on my on the Frankfurt press, it comes with a drawing a blank for the swage.
yep.
It has a built-in swage on the press, which it has definitely saved my butt sometimes because I do once fired process brass also, and a lot of those indoor range brass, if there's a crimp on that 9 millimeter, it can cause a havoc, and if it doesn't get swaged properly, and then I'll crush a primer through the process, and then it's an absolute pain in the butt. It drives me nuts.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the swage has saved my butt definitely a few times.
Yeah, my 750 is not a friend to me. I don't get that.
Okay.
I don't have that luxury.
Okay.
But yeah, so you switched from CZ, you switched to open. I think we talked pre-show, and you said Minnesota section 2024 was your first match major in open.
Yes, I think that was my first major match shooting open, and then from there, I've definitely stayed in open. I have not shot limited since switching to open.
Did you sell your limited guns yet?
I was lucky to sell one of them, but when CZ came out with the new Tactical Sport Orange 2, I jumped right on it and bought it right away.
Mm.
And you know what, and that's the one I have. Oddly, the guy that bought one of them from me wanted the older version. It's like,
Mm.
okay, uh, that's fine with me. So, real quick story on how that came about. I was this year at the 2025 Minnesota section match, and I usually work that match since that's our local section. I
Hmm.
try to work that match, and I was working it, and he shot, and I noticed, and I was ROing him. And after he got done, I said, hey, when you're done and the scores are done, come find me before you leave. And he comes up and he was like, I was sweating. I thought I was in trouble or something like that. But he was shooting a TSO. So I saw it as an opportunity to say, hey, do you have a backup? You want a backup? I've got a couple that I'd be willing to sell to you. So luckily he bought one, and I've still got one. And I think I would play with it more if it was a 2011 limited gun. It's like, I don't want to go back to that. The grip angles are just different enough that it takes a little bit of time to get acclimated back to how that gun shoots as opposed to the 2011 platform.
Right. Yeah, and I don't blame you. You know, Andy Erickson from the Not Another Shooting Show. You should buy this gun. Just
Yeah.
saying, just buy it off him. You like those tac sports? You can turn it into 9 millimeter. It's fine.
Yeah. Andy, I know Andy. Just let me know, Andy. I'll get you a good price on it.
Right. So he needs another open gun. He needs a backup gun.
He should turn this into an open gun.
No, you need you need a backup gun. He just needs more
Yes,
guns because.
I do need a backup gun.
But and then the hope is that the backup gun never has to be used, so it just sits
Right.
in the bag.
Exactly.
So so you switched to open. I think we talked a little bit about this at Area 5. Who built your open gun again? I can't remember.
Um,
It's been since August.
David, you're right. David Hill with Tactical Steel built my open gun, and I kind of got pointed in his direction because he's built Henning's open guns.
Oh, yep.
So talk to him, and his prices are they're right there where they're very reasonable. They're not touching that 7,000 north of 7,000 price point yet. Um, just because for me it's a much harder. It's like we're starting to venture into is this platform really worth that kind of price tag? Um,
Well, I
so
mean, just think about it. There's people who buy Infinities for
I
$14,000.
know, right? That's just insane. Well, one of our guys, Ches, he was shooting infinity guns. He was catching a lot of flack for it in our squad at Area 5.
Yeah, but he's actually a good shooter though too though.
He
Like
is a
so
good shooter.
I
Yeah,
mean like if it was I don't mean to pick on my buddy Brian, but my buddy Brian, he has some hard times sometimes and he has an Infinity.
yep,
But it's like he got a smoking deal on it because the guy who bought it took possession of it and found out he had like a heart fit like a heart condition, so he couldn't shoot anymore. So he literally took possession of the gun, never shot it, so he sold it right away. And my buddy
sure,
he didn't have to wait on an Infinity or anything.
yep.
So
Yeah, and I'm
some
really torn about my backup because now I've shot with you. You know, I've shot with you and a lot of the D2 guys a few times, and Dan's been there. So I'm really torn on if the backup gun's going to be a D2 or if I give David a call and just say, hey, I just build me an exact replica of what uh, and I know D2 could do the same thing, so
mhm,
I may call him up too. We'll see.
right. Well, yeah, and that's the cool. And we do put a lot of peer pressure on people.
Well, I know.
We are terrible. Like we did roll as a crew. That was the cool. That was the first. That was the coolest thing I've ever done. Really, is I worked the match, but I got to shoot the middle flight as I call it. Right, I shot the middle
Sure.
flight so I could shoot with the crew, and that was a hoot. Like it's different when you shoot on a staff squad. I mean, and you know this with doing the Minnesota section. Like it's not quite the same.
It's
like
not.
like especially when you're like the best guy on the squad and it's like well for you you're actually pretty good. I mean you placed gosh darn 11th at nationals this year. uh, but like when you're the best guy and everyone else is like C class B class and I'm like oh great I have nothing to pace myself off with so I'm
Sure.
setting the pace all day.
Yes. There's that and shooting in when you're shooting staff and you're working the match, what's hard too is putting yourself in my shooter mode where I want to do well versus because while you're shooting staff, part of your job is you're debugging the stage also. And if there's things that need to be fixed, though those the hope is that you catch all of those things during staff shoot, so then things run smoothly for the regular competitors. So I kind of sometimes I find it funny. There's been a few people that I've now won back to back. So I won limited one limited Minnesota section in 23 and then open in 24, open in 25. And I've done staff for all of those. And I've had a couple of people say, well, there's an advantage shooting staff. And it's like, there's not. If anything, it's definitely a disadvantage.
Yeah, I would say it's at least a 5% disadvantage.
You're there 1 or 2 days beforehand setting up for the match. So then you're tired from doing that. And then you're trying to debug and then you got to work the regular match the next day. So it's, I have fun. I enjoy being able to give back and work matches that are local,
Mm-hmm.
and that's important.
Well, and I'll say this too. I think the only advantage staff gets is if it's perfectly weather on staff day and it
Sure,
rains like cats and dogs on the competitors.
competitor day. That
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Plus
This
they have
year
to
our
make
section was
25.
terrible for both days. It was really not good. It was hot and muggy and rainy on
Yeah,
staff day, and it was terrible.
yeah. That's the worst is when it's no good weather, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So that's what sucks sometimes too. And it's like you can't predict the weather everywhere. I mean, the only good place that probably has good weather is like the desert all the
right.
time. And you just hope to God your gun doesn't fall into the sand.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't be the guy to drop their gun outside a
No.
course of fire and then be like, guys, I'm not gonna paste for the whole rest of this squad. Put me at the end. I gotta go
Uh-huh.
clean this gun.
Right. Right. Yeah, because
Yes.
anything other than a plastic gun is probably going to jam.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember I pulled a bullet apart once in my gun and it was just full of powder. The one thing I wish I had in my range bag was like compressed air.
Sure.
Like I was just like, oh, why don't I have any of this? And I'm like, that's
Yep.
right, because there's not infinite room in my
hmm
bag. But
No, and I've learned my lesson with the sandy climates. My first nationals was in Utah at St. George I think it was 2018, or actually maybe it was 2019. I think it was the 2018 one. Um, and I was shooting limited, and I wasn't cleaning my mags after dropping them. I was still very, very new to shooting,
mhm.
and then all of a sudden I started having problems. And eventually, after a few stages, somebody's like, "Are you cleaning your mags after you've reloaded?" I'm like, "No. What do you clean your mags for?" And it's like, "Oh." So I learned a valuable lesson. First nationals in Utah was sandy climate, sandy terrain, and so I was much better aware of that this time around in Utah again at nationals.
Yeah. So, yeah, and Utah looks like a great place. I'm excited that the matches are back at SUPs like
Yes,
nationals. Um, I just don't want them to go away from Cardinal for the most part because I'm jealous and selfish because it's only 3.5 hours from home.
sure.
Um,
No, and
but
Cardinal's a great spot even for me because I'm from Toledo, Ohio, and I moved to Minnesota mainly because that's where my wife's from, and it was just easier for me to come here than to have her move to Ohio. So when we the Buckeye Blast and I look at those matches as a way to then visit family while I'm there also because they're only an hour and a half north from Marengo
mhm.
when I go to visit. So I really like stuff at Marengo too. Um,
Yeah, and it's a great facility. I mean, and they keep changing it and making it better. Like,
yes,
um, between Area 5 and IPSC Nationals, they pulled all of the old slaggy gravel out of the dirt bays
I heard that.
and put better packed material down. And then after IPSC Nationals, they pulled out the wood sided bays and did that as well. So and they put all the structures up. So there's all these structures and shelters there on the bays. Then they're really trying to make things better. The
I did,
range.
yeah, I did hear that because that is always that was if there was a complaint, that was always kind of even my complaint a little bit too, is if you even loaded up at all to try and take off, you were sliding.
Yeah, exactly, and that's never ideal. And I know my buddy Anthony's a splatty Zabonic,
Uh huh.
falls down all the time. Uh, it's always a hoot, but it always sucks when he falls down. Then you got to clean him up, and then it's like,
Right.
yeah. So hopefully that won't be an issue going forward with the new surface. But
Yeah.
so currently, you shoot you said at Pine Island. That's your home club, right?
That's our home club.
So do you travel to Tanfo Timmy a lot, or you kind of just stay there, or do you travel around a couple different locals?
Well, I'll shoot some of Tanfo's stuff for sure. I usually don't shoot their locals, mainly just because of the drive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, all right, I got my Wednesday night in, and then usually when they have a local match up at Forest Lake, it will be on Thursday evening,
Mm-hmm.
and they do once a month
Okay.
up there unless they changed last year to weekly. But so it's more of just the drive. And now that I own the funeral home, that's even less likely. A lot of people are like, "Oh, now that you own it, you'll be able to shoot more matches." It's like, no,
No, because you don't you're there and you're not paying
yes,
somebody to be there.
exactly.
So
So
you where are your dry fire targets? Do you have those there?
in the garage here at the funeral home, I took well, since we do cremations, we get when we have to get new boxes in for for the cremations, the containers that they come in. So I just took a bunch of them and traced out kind of a miniaturized target, USPSA target, and just because I'm cheap, so I'm like, I've got all this cardboard here, I'm not going to just waste it, and I've got taped targets all over in the garage at the funeral home because that's now kind of where I like to do my dry fire. There's more room, so I can pull the vehicles out of the garage and go to town and run around the garage like a madman and actually get winded and feel like I'm putting in a good session.
Right.
So
So I want to talk a little bit about the funeral home in a little bit, but I got this question I got to ask. So you're good, right? We've established that you're good. You came in 11th at nationals. You've won multiple major matches, contended to win multiple major matches. Do you train with somebody? Do you just, were you just, or is it natural ability? Like, I mean, you've progressed. Like, what's keeping you sharp and at this level?
Sure. It is more natural ability, just very naturally. My family's a very athletic family by nature. And there's so many other sports and how you present yourself and train for golf or football, because a lot of those sports are also mental. So there's a lot of things that just translate to being able to stay on point with shooting. So I've never taken a class from anyone, and that's more of my stubbornness. I'm like, if they can figure it out, so can I. And if I figure it out, I'll figure it out that works for me. So, but I mean, I'm not lying either. If somebody offers up free nuggets on the internet, of course I'm going to absorb that information and put it to good use. But no classes. And then the dry fire stuff, I really did not start dry firing until our son started, and that became a habit because he needed to dry fire the most to be safe and understand the game. And so that kind of also forced me to dry fire with them. So 2024 is when I actually started to dry fire. And going up to a major match, I try to do it 15 minutes every night, maybe the last couple weeks going up to a major match. But for the most part, I don't do any, aside from our Wednesday night local matches, I don't actually go out to the range and do any live fire practice at all. I should. I would be better if I did.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, there's always a contentional thing.
Right.
I mean, but it's nice that, you know, you're out there, you're dry fire with your son, getting him into it. And,
Yeah.
but then you're also like, you don't have, I mean, especially at the funeral home, you don't have time to go on live fire practice because you're always there, right? Because your hours can probably shift, right? Like visitations that are later, and you know, it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
flexible
People
schedule.
people die at 2 a.m. And a couple weeks ago we had a snowstorm and somebody had died an hour and a half away at 2 in the morning. So at 2 in the morning, I'm driving through a snowstorm. It looks like you're in Star Wars. You're at light speed. So it's just, yeah, it's any day that ends with Y, and 365 days a year.
Hmm. So, do you at least have a pimped out Hearst?
No, it's just a
Oh,
standard one.
we
It'd be
could make it
fun to
green.
get something. What's that?
We could make it green.
We could emerald green accents or pinstripes on it.
Nope, exactly. And you just have music. You know, speaking of Star Wars, you could have like the Imperial March playing as you're driving.
Right?
But yeah, and you can't, you know, like you said, you can't predict when somebody's gonna die, and
No.
so, so I guess
Well,
this is
that's kind of why. That's kind of also why I like on my social media stuff. I just have tactical mortician. A buddy of mine came up with that.
mm-hmm,
Mainly because just keeping my real name out of the shooting side on the social media stuff. It's more of
mm-hmm,
just because not everybody. Minnesota's got a lot of we've got a lot of not so gun friendly people, and you just don't know how people will react to that. So it's just kind of safer for me to keep that separate
mm-hmm.
in a way, and then it's almost like having a Batman identity or something. I've got,
Yeah, well, until I can search your name and mortician up on Google and then still pull it up. Now I'm on your website.
there you go. Yeah, I mean it's not bulletproof, but
No,
to the common person, they don't put two and two together.
right? How old is this picture on your website? Now I'm curious.
That was just a couple years ago.
the facial hair definitely changes it a little
It
bit.
does. I only grow it for the winter because it can get really cold out at the cemeteries, and when I've got a beard, my face does not get cold. But
Well, but you also remember too, most people don't see anyone's hair either though when they're at a match because it's usually a ball cap,
yep,
glasses, and big earmuffs. Like no one like sees everyone's facial features.
no,
And then there's some people like what is it? There's a couple guys I remember they would still wear like baklavas,
sure.
like even after COVID, they're like, I'm kind of used to it now. So like,
Hmm.
but usually like bright colors. But yeah, especially when you shoot in those super dusty environments, I totally understand them.
Sure.
Like Dragon's Cup, right? Like that place, horrible sand.
That's a goal of mine to shoot that match at some point. So, but I haven't done it yet.
I don't know. I don't want to go to Odessa, Texas now. I've been watching clips of Landman. I don't want to
Okay.
go to Odessa. It's probably the best Billy Bob Thornton TV show, though. I will say that.
Sure.
But that's just from the clip. The clips are pretty good, so I mean, it must be
Yeah.
pretty good. I think I'm too cheap to pay for Paramount. I think that's what really comes down to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we were talking more. So your son started dry firing, right? So you said he started shooting at the age of 9 USPSA, right? So is he shooting?
Yeah, he's 9 now. I started dry fire practicing with him at 7.5 to get him ready for the winter league because I used the indoor stuff here in Rochester is so much. It's just very laid back. It's not officially USPSA matches,
Mhm.
so that was a great way to test whether he would actually be able to go shoot outdoors.
Mhm.
And he's probably a lot of guys at the club say this, he's probably safer than 90% of some of the adults
Mhm.
we've got out there, and he's already comfortable going left and right, which is good because the better he gets, the more it's going to make me, because I don't want him to beat me. I'm too competitive of a person, and so that'll hopefully keep me sharp for a little bit longer period of time, is knowing that he's going to be nipping at my heels in the near future.
Mhm. Right. So did you start him off with like a carry optics gun
I
or?
did started him off right away in LO.
Oh, okay. So
With
is he shooting like that 2011 you were talking about, or is he shooting like a
No, he's
plastic gun?
shooting an M&P competitor.
Okay.
I initially I started him out in single stack, mainly because of his hand size. The only thing he could safely operate and manipulate the firearm was the Kimber Micro, which
Mhm.
is it's a nice gun, but it is a terrible gun to shoot. It is
Mhm.
snappy and violent. It's a nasty gun to shoot. I'm more props to him being able to handle that gun. And then once his hands got big enough here for this last year, he was able to fit into a M&P competitor, and that was such a night and day difference for him. So, but in ways there was good things that he learned from single stack, round count stuff, stage plan. You need to make sure your hits are get your hits and not just be Wyatt Earp and rely on the ammo capacity.
Right.
So,
Well, yeah, and yeah, just throw him a 29 round big stick. And
right.
be like, oh, what was round count? I
Yeah.
mean, when normally we have there's a couple limited optics carry optic shooters who will design some stages around us, and they're planning it around that 24 to 25 round stage, and I'm like, that steel's not that far.
Right.
I'm not reloading. And they're
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? We all have to reload. No, no, we don't.
Hmm.
And I just laugh at it. It's like the only way to get the open shooter to reload is probably make it 27 rounds. Well,
Yeah.
unless it makes sense to like it makes sense to reload, right? Like super hard shots or whatever. Like when you
Right.
make it a hose or burn stage, like no reload, sir, no
Yeah.
reload.
I'm really confident even at 20, 28, 29 round stages, especially if there's no steel, it's a no brainer. I'm probably not reloading, even if it's 20, because I'll run the new MBX 30 round mags and the X7
Hmm.
and then Barney and, start at 31. So if it's all paper and there's nothing super risky, shooting 28, 29 rounds I'm very confident with that.
Right? Yeah, I would agree. That is definitely. I like that. I mean, and there's probably always stages like, well, oh, you could have reloaded here in this 2 steps. I'm like, I don't care. I'll just have the
Right.
gun up. I'd rather just have the gun.
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, you could be like our buddy Chris at Area 5 and just tear up his knee every time he falls down, though.
Right. Yeah.
So, if anyone didn't go to Area 5, there was this really bad rocks on this unloaded start stage, and he went super fast coming out of the middle position. And literally, I don't know how he does it. He gets two, like, I think it was probably two alphas or an Alpha Charlie. As he's falling, gadding,
Out of the, yeah.
and then he's
I think it was two alphas.
and then it was like, medic,
Hmm.
which was hilarious. And then he hobbled around the rest of the time. But
Yeah.
like I said, that was probably my most favorite match shooting, purely from the squad was good. I think we only had one carry optic shooter. Sorry, Drew. I think everyone else was shooting open.
I think so. We were an open squad. It was a fun squad, and mainly that's what why it was appealing to stay on the squad then for nationals, because I shot with Chris Patch. I think those were the only D2, and then I met Neil for the first time at nationals.
Oh, yep. Chris's buddy Neil.
Yes.
I haven't met Neil in person yet.
Okay.
Either.
He's a fun guy. So
Yeah.
there it was good to shoot with.
Well, and then Dan went, but he was Mr. Repairman.
Yes. Yeah.
He didn't shoot, or he's just like, I'm just gonna go. I'm like, okay.
And
I wish-
thankfully, you know what, the D2 guns run. So even though he was there as the repairman, there really wasn't anything he was repairing.
Yeah, he just got to hang out with his little buddy Zayden. I mean,
Yes.
passing rocks back and forth probably. And
Yep.
now, I will say, I mean, the biggest thing I kind of figured I got from Area 5, and then IPSC, Chris he got the new X5 Insta 360.
Okay.
So much better appealing than the GoPro I had to throw in the air.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, it's a night and day different. Like, if I wasn't so invested in the GoPro, I'd be like, yeah, I'm gonna go get me that 360 cam that'll follow me everywhere.
Yeah, we were talking about that at nationals because I have the X3, and Chris was kind of asking me about that camera at Area 5. So I think that's I think that's kind of what pushed him into looking at the and then getting the X5.
Yeah, it's a great camera. I just
It
wish
is.
I
Just
too
getting
cheap.
it set up, not worrying about where it is, and just knowing that it's going to capture all the footage, it just kind of takes away some of the pressure of paying attention to that you're getting the right footage and then shooting well.
Right. Well, and then or handing your phone off to somebody to be like, hey,
Yes.
record this. It's like you don't have to worry about it.
Right.
Yeah, and it still bites my butt that I don't have one yet, but I'll survive. I'll survive. But no, so where was this Area 5? No, that's Buckeye. I must not have pulled it up. Anywho, I want to talk about Area 3. I know
Sure.
I want to get into this. So, your first area match win, but this was your first one in open.
Yes.
First area match first Area 3 in open. I'm assuming you've shot Area 3.
I have shot Area 3 in the past years, just always in limited.
Right. So, did you shoot it during the Sherwin time then?
Yes.
Okay. Did you like the pool noodle matches?
Well, you know what? I don't know. No, because the pool noodles were after I started shooting Area 3, so I don't think I actually got to shoot Sherwin Area 3 stuff.
Okay, so the first one would have been Matt and then Scott's.
Yep.
So so you shot at Grand Island before,
Yes.
and you shot at the new South Dakota place.
Yes.
What did you think of the range?
The range is great. Facility's great. The bays are good. Wind, just because of that area, that's their biggest downfall. And I think they've learned, I think, from Area 3 here, kind of how they would need to better stabilize walls and how they want to place steel a little bit better, because that was the wind, just so right off the gate after our first stage, going to our second stage for the day, we were delayed an hour and a half because of the wind, just on the second stage. So we were already an hour and a half behind schedule after shooting one stage in the morning.
Now, and did you go by yourself or did you take the family with you?
We did a family trip just because of this area we were in. So there's a lot of good hiking and stuff we could do with the kids. So we turned it into an area trip. But a lot of guys from Pine Island that I know were still shooting that match. So I was still squatted with guys that I knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. An hour and a half behind. And did you
Yeah.
shoot Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday?
I did Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
Shot Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, AM, and then we shot AM, Saturday, PM on Sunday. I think was the format, or maybe it was PM. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, first right out of the gate, hour and a half. That was a mental drainer.
Just
but
sitting there waiting and
yes, but luckily was able to still stay in the right mode, because once we got back up and running, that was one of my, I had the fastest raw time on that stage, but dropped some accuracy because of that. So it didn't, luckily was able to stay in a good enough mindset. It didn't hurt me at all.
right. So you had relatively good time. There was a couple of people who beat you on time.
There were,
especially Adam Grimm, who like stomped everybody on time.
yeah.
Were you ever able to find his like video and compare like your like the video to the times that are correlated?
I haven't, no.
Yeah, because
I don't know if he has them. I've tried to find them, but I haven't found them. And I won't name. There was a couple shooters, because after we saw that time, that was like, wow, that's not a little bit of time. That's a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's speculation that you wonder if some of with how bad the wind was, were some of the last shots picked up on certain stages. It's hard to know. There's a couple stages where I just looked and I'm like, I have no idea where he would have been able to shave off that much time over myself. And on our squad, there was a couple other really good carry optic shooters and a couple other good open shooters. And, we were just like, again, I'm not accusing or saying that happened. It's just one of those where you wonder, like, man, where the heck could that time have been shaved off? Where on that stage was there time to shave off? And did all the shots get picked up, or who knows? It was so windy that very easily could have happened.
Thank you for checking out another episode of Manny Talks Shooting. I greatly appreciate it. And if you could do me a favor, please go patronize our partners when you are available. We have always, as the title sponsor, D2 Custom Guns. We've got Outdoor Dynamics, Make Stuff Better, 2 Alpha Apparel, Range Panda, Laugh and Load, Hunter's HD Gold, and Southern Bobby Q. Now, thank you. Let's get on with this episode. Well, you're lucky. I found him on YouTube, and I sent you his Area 3 footage.
Oh,
on
sweet.
Instagram. Boom.
Nice, really nice guy, though. And he's there. He's putting in the work. He's, especially after nationals here, he's a really good shooter.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. He was able to do it twice. Area 3, then race gun.
Yeah,
but no,
he's very accurate under his speed too.
Right. And most people, they're either super accurate or super fast, and they don't always connect. Right.
Right.
But that's good to see that he is. Both of those he's good at. But for you,
I kind of go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go right ahead.
Well, I was going to say I kind of reverted back to my old ways at nationals a little bit, because I've been all year for 25. My accuracy has gotten better. Made it through a lot of local matches where I didn't even shoot any deltas, and part of that was for me, winning matches is very boring, just because of the mindset for me that I have to stay in is just very, you're not do the mental game of course managing. I call it course management, kind of like golf. You have to manage the field. Each stage is a new hole, and there's just not, if you want to win and be consistent, for me, it's kind of a boring process, because I'm not doing anything risky, fun, stupid, and you're just sticking to the plan.
Right. Yeah. And especially when you go to a local match that you necessarily know you're going to go home with a win, even if you mess up. Right. Like,
Yes, right.
and that's the hard thing of, like for you, especially, I don't have to deal with that as much. There's people better at me at my club, which still pushes me, but they're not necessarily open shooters either, though.
Sure.
So there's always the correlation. I've talked to a couple of my training buddies or coaches I've had, and I'm like, should I register as minor and see how badly I get my dick kicked in? It's like, no, it's not going to make you any better. Like, okay. Well, because, there's usually, oh, you're shooting, you have major, you're getting 4-point Charlies. I'm like, I
Right.
do enjoy 4-point Charlies,
Yeah.
but I can't let, like, like, there's still some accuracy base to it, right? You gotta make sure you're trying to hit middle of the target.
You
My
do.
my enemy is like I practice exclusively on IPSC targets, but it's like the Charlies are always a little bit higher on the IPSC because they're like usually in that high
Right.
and to the right and high to the
Yep.
left. Like it just didn't come back down right to the center, and I was like, son of a bitch.
Right. Yeah.
But so you said at nationals you reverted back to yourself a little bit, so you took a little bit push on speed and a little bit less
Yes.
focus, or accepted a little less accuracy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And because my time at nationals was very much right there with a handful of the other super squad guys. I just very much had too low of an alpha count and too high of a Charlie count.
Right, because you're Christian Seiler's time 2:45, and you had a 2:58.
Yeah.
So a very respectable, I would say it's very close, right? Like
Right.
there's still nuggets to grab, but like
Right.
Chris Tilley, you were just under half a second slower than Chris Tilley, right? And
Mhm.
we know, and you were faster than Bill Drummond, and you were right on pace with John, like 2 seconds behind John Vlieger over a whole match, right? So
Right.
time's definitely there. So, but
Yeah.
you only came away with 3 mics and 2 no shoots.
Yeah, and that was kind of on day two, I think. Day two was kind of where I dug myself in a little bit of a hole.
Mhm.
Placing top 10 was the goal that I had set. So it was a little bit of a sting just being in the very first position outside of the top 10. But at the same time, hopefully 11th place is still good enough to maybe get on the super squad next year.
Mhm.
That'd be pretty sweet to at least shoot with those guys once.
Right. Now Patches did it once and then he got DQ'd. So
Sure.
just remember that.
Yep.
But no, that was so there's a rule for Patches now. They changed a rule. Instead of if you swap guns without range master approval, it was a you will be DQ'd.
Okay.
But now it's a may be DQ'd.
Oh.
So that's the new Patches rule.
Okay.
But yeah, so what was I? Patches had a bad match. He zeroed his first stage.
That was just pure bad luck. I mean, the second round, it was either the first or second round, and then a case separation. It was just it's like he just caught an absolute bad luck there.
Yeah, that's got to be the worst feeling. It's like, oh well, there went 32 rounds that I can't get back.
Right, because it was not a small stage that it happened on either. There was a lot of points on that stage.
Right. So, so push back a little bit to Area 3. You get the open win. Now, you had some good heat there, right? You had Craig Tappy was there.
Mm-hmm.
So a known entity in Area 3. Bridger Havens, I think he's not from the area. I think he's from Colorado.
Okay.
Jonah Prez, I have no idea. Yeah, so did you have the mindset of, I'm going to win this match, or was it I'm just going to shoot my process and see where it falls?
I have the mindset of I know I possess the ability and the skills to win a match. And so it more lean towards it's just shoot your match, because if you can shoot your match, you're going to put yourself in the best position to have a good placement and more likely come out and win the match.
Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely, if I put in the time that I would need to beat everybody in open, I know I possess the abilities to beat Christian Seiler, but I would have to put in a lot more time to do it. But I know it's there. So I lean on just staying confident and letting your natural abilities and not overcomplicating it, and just keeping a good mental attitude with it.
Hmm. Right, and that's I guess the best way to put it. Right, is just putting yourself in the right mental attitude. You know, shoot your match and then not worry about who else is there. Right,
Right.
because we all know Christian is gonna do what Christian does and perform
Yeah.
very well.
Yep.
I
No,
mean,
he is.
he only had 6 deltas. I mean, in reality, you could say he had 6 mics, but
Right.
no, they probably were still way on the paper.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. No, overall, Area 3 was a good boost for me, though, because I had won 2025 by far was my best season ever.
Hmm.
In Ohio, coming in second to John, which for those that maybe didn't shoot Buckeye Blast for 2025, the worst environment I've ever shot a match in. Just
It was horrible,
it
and
was horrible. Um, but it was like, hey, all right, I just came in second to a guy that's always right in the mix at nationals by, I think 2.5% is what he got me by at nationals, or I'm sorry, at Buckeye.
hmm
So that was a good confidence boost. So that was, I came in second place there, and then won the South Dakota section match. Came in pretty much for sectional matches. I think I am at a 4 wins, 2 loss ratios, and 2 losses second place. So four first, 2 seconds, and then area 5 was a little bit of a. I ended up finding out that the dot was loose on the gun, because Chris and I would talk through the match, and it's like, yes, I'm shooting aggressively and I'm trying to go super fast, but I'm 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 at least good enough to know it's like, all right, I did not miss that target. I know I didn't, but
hmm
it didn't dawn on me to check any of that kind of stuff at that match. So then our local match after Area 5, I was having the exact same misses. And finally somebody's like, is your dot loose? And sure shit, went over to it and it was wiggling.
mm.
So
So this must be why I got a question. Because I did post for questions, and one guy was like asked, "Ruthless Adventure." I don't know who this is. You might, but what is the best red dot on the market?
oh
I don't know if it's that or if it was a poke at that or they were seriously curious.
yeah, I think that might be a friend of my wife's, if I'm thinking of the right person. Um,
Now I'm going to stalk them. Just kidding. I'm going to look and see who it
yeah,
is.
Ruth.
I don't know, some picture of someone on a boat.
Yeah, that's a friend of my wife's.
Ah, okay.
So so now that I've experienced that happening, now part of my routine going to a major match is going to the practice bay and checking that zero.
Hmm.
I have never done it before, and that may have been something I would have caught before Area 5. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and for me, it's typically not a thing around here. I mean, yes, at Cardinal because I've got those extra set of bays that nobody
Yeah.
uses. But
It's not. It's definitely not a thing around here.
right.
Um, our the clubs that host the Minnesota section don't have room to have practice bays like that. The South Dakota ranges now, the new one in South Dakota does, but usually where they have their section match in Canton, South Dakota, they don't have a practice bay. So it is just not a habit that has been formed for me to. It is now, but kind of like what you said, it's just not really a thing around here either. So
Right
that's
now,
something that dawned on me.
right. And I'm gonna do it. So like, and for me, I'm gonna work 2, maybe 3 matches, area matches. Sorry, not area,
Okay,
major matches this year. The Buckeye Blast again. I'm part of that crew. I set that up.
sure.
I'm there a whole week, right? So I don't really get time to touch the gun.
Yep.
But so, and I especially did this before Area 5. Before we shot, it was like during that another like there was a staff match, the first pre-flight, like that JJ and Marco Davis shot, and then we shot a flight.
Okay.
I made sure to go warm up, right? Like get the gun back in the hand and remember how gun recoil feels, because and I was there the whole week prior to the match setting up. Like we were there a whole week before any shooting happens.
Sure.
So that was a thing. And but no, I'm a co-match director for Area 5 in 2026
Okay.
at Oak Hill Gun Club in Lyons, Michigan, Penoma. It's some weird little townshipal thing that like
Okay.
you have an address from this guy, but really you're in this township, and it's so bizarre. It's really
Sure.
weird. But I usually say Portland, Michigan, because that's the closest thing when you get off the highway.
Okay.
You go through town to get there. We just added 4 more bays, right?
All right.
So we added, some good normal size 30 by 25 yard bays. We have like 3 50-yard wide by 30-yard deep bays next to those, and then they kind of get a little bit smaller going down the hill, but average is a 30-yard bay, a 40-yard bay deep, with just as much wide, and then they kind of
Sure.
get a little bit smaller, like your 25 by 15 wide bays at the very bottom. But we had a practice bay always, but it had backer board, like for the regular plinking folk who come out to the range who are members, and they use it, but they don't really use it. So we don't let them use all of our props and stuff because
Sure.
they're gonna shoot the wall up if they did anyway.
Yeah.
But excuse me. But we added another 25-yard deep by like 10 wide sighted
Okay.
bay. So it's like, all right, I'm like, that's kind of nice. We can use it for chrono or test fire. And it just adds bays, right? So we're having a 14-stage area match in that area, which is nice because we're gonna blow socks out of the water. But yeah, I think it's still important. I love hearing people go rapid fire like first thing in the morning? No, but
Mhm.
like because there's the guy who does the mag dump, right? Like we gotta get
Right.
the gun warm, and I'm like, guys, it's
Right.
too early for this shit.
Yeah.
Well,
When I
luckily
go to the
everyone
practice
starts on a flight like in the afternoon though, so I'm
Right.
saying,
Yeah, for me, I'm just checking the zero quick, and what I've done is just done one mag and do a doubles drill. So
mhm,
and then maybe add in a couple transitions there. I'm mainly just trying to establish the feel for the gun that day, the recoil, and just establish the mode that I want to be in, not necessarily go there with 3 mags and burn almost 100 rounds of ammo just on the practice bay. Load up 20 rounds quick, do a couple transitions, some doubles, and call it good.
right. Excuse me. But yeah,
I am
just get
very much somebody who approaches. Do you know how well do you know golf?
you hope for eagles.
Okay, all right. Well, my
Wait,
approach to
Happy Gilmore?
shooting,
Yes, I know golf like that, but no.
my approach to shooting is kind of like, do you know who Bryson DeChambeau and oh, why do I not know this other guy's name? I should. But basically, they're both phenomenal golfers, and they approach the game so very differently. Bryson is scientific. He takes way too much time to pick and choose his club, and choose up time, and is irritating. And then this other guy whose name is escaping me right now is just like, give me the club and I'm going to hit it.
Right. Yeah. Technically. Yeah. Yes, I understand what you're saying.
And
Yeah.
but they're both extremely successful, and I kind of approach shooting that way in the sense of I don't think it needs to be complicated, and so I try to not complicate that. I'm like, when I'm doing stages, I'm not mathing at all, and
Mhm.
maybe I should. Maybe that's something I should look into at some point. But I'm not. I don't look at a stage and I'm like, I'm trying to figure out and calculate any math. I'm just like, I'm just always going to go as fast as I reasonably can, and just shoot accurate all the time. And I don't want to think about anything else. I don't care. I don't walk up to a stage thinking this should be a 10 hit factor stage. This should be an 8. And I don't do any of that mathing.
Right. Well, you're not a mathematician. You're a
I'm a
mortician.
more right there. You go. Nice.
But my exactly dad joke level skills.
Yeah.
But I had a buddy, Andrew Hyder. I don't know if you've ever heard of him.
Yeah. I've met Andrew a couple times.
and he would tell you exactly. He'd pull out his phone and be like, "All right, the max hit factor on this stage is," he'd figure out the time, right? And then he'd like, "Oh, the
Hmm.
max hit factor on this stage is 15, right?"
Right.
So, and he'd figure it out. I'm like, dude, like you are way too in the tisms for that shit. Like, you
Yep.
were. He was good. He was fast. It's
Yeah.
sad that he moved away and he kind of stopped shooting.
Right.
But when he went and took over, kind of running MPA, it's good for him. But it's also like, bro, I'm not. My tism does not work. Is not that strong.
Sure.
like,
Right. Like I don't use. I listened to a podcast where the guy that the practice score competitor app guy was
mhm.
going over. I think it was on casual
Okay.
shooting.
Yeah, I listened for 5 minutes, couldn't hear him or understand him, so I'm like, nope,
Sure.
bye. I was like,
Yep.
nope.
So I did listen to it over however long it took me because I just kind of wanted to understand how he wants or how people can use the app to their advantage. And I think it's great info. But again, to me, I'm just like I don't want to look at a stage and go, it would be detrimental to how I attack things to go, all right, the max hit factor on this is 10 hit factor. So I just need to make sure I don't burn, you know, do anything stupid on the stage and stay right in that hunt. That will hurt me
Mhm.
negatively going
Right.
into it that way, rather than it's just there's no reason I just don't go into every stage with it with it, I just be accurate on everything and go fast, have aggression,
Hmm.
and not get into this back and forth of push a little bit here, don't push a little bit there. And
Right. And that's the thing that some people don't know how to find is that aggression, right? That perfect balance of aggression and like accuracy and
right,
like flow state. But I mean, without aggression, especially in open division, like you're in the dust, right? Like you
you
can't.
are.
Like, I mean, my favorite stage, probably my favorite stage to date, not based on match performance, but or anything, because I had terrible officiating or I just missed most of the targets. Was that turning targets at Area 5 this year,
Oh,
right?
sure.
Like the 6 seconds of draw the gun and murder all the targets. I mean,
Uh-huh.
that were at like 2 yards from you, but
Hmm.
I mean, some of us still ended up missing you. I love it. You pre-paced a target on Chris, and
I know.
he never let you live it down the rest of the match.
Oh no, all nationals. Well, so our first stage I had to reshoot because guy on our squad had pasted a target. So I had to do a reshoot. So that guy took all the heat off me for nationals then because we got that then we weren't letting him forget it. But yeah, I remember doing that too. And when Sven called the hit on that one target and I knew he hadn't called the one, I was just like in automatic mode and bam, put the paster there. I was like, oh shoot. But it worked out great for Chris.
Yes, he needed it too.
Yes, that was a very fun stage too. I remember shooting it and being very aggressive, and I ended up slowing down a little bit at the end because I was like, I've got time.
Right, and like when I'm walking it, and they're trying to figure out the stage. I mean, the stage never didn't look like it ever flowed right to left either, like
Sure.
at all. It was biased left to right.
Yep.
But I'm like, do I have enough time on this? And I'm like, I didn't think I did. But then I'm like, oh, okay, we'll just shoot. We're just gonna shoot the gun.
Right.
And definitely listening for the pneumatics. Real, like it's like it's visual start, but the pneumatics, like the pneumatic is happening, so you're like
Right.
gun, and then
Yep.
and what it was that one of those targets in the middle that kind of suckered people into stopping, or
Right. Because you had an array in the middle there where you wanted to shoot the inner target first because then that sets you back on the moving left to right
hmm
array,
right,
but it wasn't the inner target wasn't the first one that presented as itself. So it's like the more efficient way was to shoot the outer one because that's what was available first, but then it made you bring your gun a little more left, and then now you're coming back to the right. And if we're thinking of the same position on that stage, I think that was the one that kind of would stump people into stopping
yeah, yeah, that
more a little bit more there than they should have or
right.
needed to.
Right, and you just kept pushing through. I think everyone on our squad, there may be two guys who didn't finish the stage, but
Right.
it was still a hoot. Like, I think Drew was up first, so I went first on the stage before him. He went first on that stage, and he got everybody fired up because
Hmm.
making that gorilla noise. It was a hoot.
Yeah.
That like I said, that was probably the most fun stage I've ever shot, purely from just like a raw speed aggressional standpoint of like, can you make the time?
Sure.
And those are always fun. Those are truly always fun.
Yeah.
So if you could pick one stage from nationals, which one was your favorite stage at a nationals?
My favorite stage was probably, I'm trying to think of which zone this one was in. 18 was a really fun one. And I think I came in second overall on that stage. Um, and that was dropped I had a couple deltas on that, or else if the Charlies would have been there, it definitely would have beaten the guy that beat me on it. I still had him on time. I remember shooting 18, and Chris went before I did, and he had a great run, and I just went into absolute zero or hero mode on it, and it connected. I went 1 for 1 on all the steel, but I just absolutely burned that one down. It was 10, did it in 10 something seconds, and I think one other open shooter, the guy that beat me, Brian Jones, I think he was also in the tens, and everybody else was in the 11s, 12s, 13s.
Yeah, you guys, you had the raw time on that stage. You had the raw time. You dropped two more Charlies and the two Deltas
Yeah,
compared to Brian, and
yeah.
which
And the deltas came from when you went right. It was earlier in the day, and the sun glare was right there,
mm,
because the two targets on the right array, you really couldn't see them for the most part. So I was just kind of instinctively just point shooting, and I'm pretty sure my two deltas came from those two target arrays. Um,
right,
but it's I'm trying to look at deltas more like mics,
yeah,
trying to do that, but that was a really fun stage. I think for the most part the stages were good this year at nationals. There was a lot of the same flavor of stage. It was like you drew and you went left, pivoted, and then you come back right, and then you head down the fault line. So there wasn't a lot of variety. They were still good stages. There just wasn't a lot of variety. It was a lot of very similar kind of shooting.
right. So you wouldn't tell me your favorite stage wasn't the Shaky Bridge?
Yeah, right.
I mean, Chris was close to a stage win on the Shaky Bridge.
He was. Yeah. It was fun. It was I what's annoying to me about it is just with the magnets and mag pouches
Hmm.
crashing down on that stuff on your belt.
Yeah, that definitely sucks. Especially when now we all move our stuff to the like front,
Yes.
so you're taking it right in the pelvis and or like right in the hip joint, and it's like,
Right.
or well, and the worst thing you could do is not put a magazine there, like because
Right.
that's when you would need it, and then you're fishing for a mag off your backside or something.
Right. So it would have been I probably would have preferred just having shot standing on the bridge rather than having to go prone on it. But at the same time, I try to look at those stages as not don't get too hung up on it, because everybody is going to have to shoot that,
Hmm.
and everybody's going to be uh, forced with the same challenges that stage brings. So I try to not get. It's like there's not going to be anything that's too favoring a certain division on those kinds of stages. So it's like just shoot it, move on. Do I love it? No, but we've all got to shoot it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and it is what it is when it comes to those kind of stages. Everyone's going to shoot it. I
Right.
didn't. There were some people did some silly plans on those things, but I it's one of those, just shoot it the most efficient way possible and then move on, I
Yes.
guess.
Yeah. Turf. A lot of us had. I had a nice little good rug burn after that stage because it was turf on there, which they needed for grip. But man, if you were wearing shorts and you went prone aggressively, you were definitely scraping up your knees.
Right. Yeah, you definitely don't want to scrape up your knee, especially on that stuff. That stuff sucks.
Yeah.
And that's why you wear pants, people,
Right.
or at
And
least wear a knee brace on that stage or something.
right.
I've
No,
I've
overall
lost a
nationals
pair.
was a good match. I wasn't too, I wanted to make the top 10, like I said earlier, but at the end of the day, it's like, I still made the top 15, 16, which maybe this. A lot of guys were like, well, you still made top 16. And is that a thing? I guess I don't understand what making top 16 at nationals means.
So I guess back in the day, historically, top 16 would always be announced at nationals. Like,
Okay.
but I think now they just do top 10
Yeah.
because now say there's only 16 people in the division. Of course, you're the only 16
Right.
people.
Right.
But no, I think it was in a reality, back in the day, also, if you were in the top 16, you had a chance to win the match. Like you were
Okay.
in real contention to win the match.
Sure.
And there was just little nuggets that ate you alive, kind of thing.
Okay.
Now, but with Christian freaking putting,
Yeah.
5% plus on the field, it's also like, oof.
No, he's getting better,
Hmm.
and which is awesome because that's just gonna bring everybody else to try and get better also. So it's not a bad thing, and it's just one of those, and it's not too. I think I said earlier, it's like I really do know and believe I've got the talent to I could beat all those guys there, but I have to put in the appropriate time and work to make that happen. So
Correct. Yep.
there's that. Can't be unrealistic about it. I just can't show up and not have put in the time that would require to beat all of them. And
Right. Yeah. And but you also know your limitations,
yeah,
your restraints at home, right? The family, the
yep.
business, and all that. So,
If there was more of an opportunity for profitability in the sport, that could be different.
right. Like
With how
cash
much you
payouts
want to
and
put into this because at the end of the day it's still amateur sport. It's still very much a hobby
mhm,
for the majority of people, and there's that law of diminishing return. So it's like me putting the effort in to beat Christian. So then at the end of the day, all right, you got to say you beat world champion, and then everybody's going to forget about it in a few days. And then what really did I gain from it
mhm,
aside from a lot of lost time and those? There's just no monetary value yet. I'm a little skeptical. I don't know if there ever will be. There could be, and I know there's a lot of guys talking about that. So we'll see, but
right.
that definitely could change things and how much time and effort you put into it. If there's a little bit more monetary value that could be gotten out of it,
Well, absolutely, yeah. Now, if it takes like people like Isaac McLaren, who was doing cash payout for limited optics winner,
right?
which Adam Grimm walked away with money. Um, if there was if sponsors like doing that for cash payouts for, 1, 2, 3 in the winners, that would definitely entice more people probably to
Right.
perform better or even go to the nationals. Right? There's some people who are like, I'm good, but I don't want the commit. Like, essentially, at the end of the day, I guess your hopes is to break even at real,
Sure.
to break even on your trip. I mean, because the trip's not cheap, right? You spend $400 on a match fee, plus you got to get there and be there for 3 or 4 days.
Right.
Lost time from work, which is probably very hard for you. You know, being the boss.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just like I'm. Well, and there's no busy season for you. I mean, is there a busy season for morticians?
The winter months, colder months, definitely kind of pick up a little bit more than through the summer with older people catching the flu and those kinds of things. And then the summer times a little bit slower, and it's usually more accident prone. People, young people on boats,
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, motorcycles, that kind of stuff. So more of that. Um, but yeah, the winter months get a little bit busier with the flu season.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. That definitely makes sense. But I think we should probably wrap it up before your wife kills me through the phone. Because she'd be like, "Why aren't you home yet?" And then it's like,
Yeah. No, you're good. The downside is I can ramble.
right.
So
Well, it's okay. We've had a great conversation. I had a hoot at Area 5. I hope to see you in 2026 at
I
Area
don't want to
5.
be in there for, 2026.
Yep. I know the D2 crew. I think they're planning on shooting Saturday, Sunday, so Chris can drive home, get there, leave Friday or leave Saturday
Sure.
morning or something. Either way, there's spots on their squad if you
I'll
want to
probably
watch it.
shoot Sunday so I know what his scores were.
Right, exactly. We can make that happen and let you guys figure that out. But
Right.
Colin, thank you, man, for coming on. I had a blast. I love talking to you. I had a fun time. But if people want to talk to you about shooting or watch your videos, where do they need to go?
Tactical Mortician is my Instagram and also YouTube. And those are the only two social media stuff that I post. YouTube, I pretty much only do shorts. I haven't dabbled into my nationals matches, is the only one that I've actually put together a full length video for. But other than that, I'm just kind of having fun posting stuff, not being too serious with it. And
Mm-hmm. Right, I was just having to search you up on the YouTubes. There we go. There's the same picture. It's a white Hearst.
yes,
We could do better than that.
we can.
We
Black,
could.
a black hearse with what would be really neat one day is to get an older hearse that you really don't want to use for funerals anymore, and just kind of maybe I could turn it into my match traveling vehicle.
There you go. There's plenty of room for gear in the back.
Plenty of room.
Just happens to have. If you want to ride in the back, you got to ride in the casket though.
Exactly right.
But yeah. Well.
Yeah. No. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
It was fun to do it, and looking forward to. You ever want to do it again? You let me know.
Oh, absolutely. We'll do it again. Especially if something changes, like in your, what's going on, or you win some more area matches or whatnot.
Sure.
Definitely have you on. I tried to do one like in person at Area 5, but it just didn't work. Things were too crazy to try to even figure that out. But it's all good. But Colin, thank you again, man, for hanging out with me. And to the listeners, get out and do the things. I will see you on the next one.